When I told people that I was going to Russia, I actually got mixed reactions. But whether the biggest country on the planet fascinates or terrifies you, there is no doubt that it'll capture your imagination. For many years, Russia was not only difficult to access for tourists, but certain areas were completely off limits, giving the travelling world plenty of reason to be intrigued about it. Thanks to Scenic Tours, we'll be exploring some of the highlights of this incredible country from the comfort of our luxury ship, the Scenic Tsar. From the capital Moscow, we'll cruise for over 2,000 k's down the mighty Volga, stopping at some of the country's oldest villages before finishing up in beautiful St. Petersburg. Moscow is not only Russia's geographic capital, it's the country's political, historical and financial centre. At the heart of this city is Red Square, home to St. Basil's Cathedral, the Kremlin and Lenin's Mausoleum. Tell you what, if these cobblestones could talk, it's hard to believe in the 13th century this whole area was a slums, a shanty town full of criminals and drunks and even public executions. And then after that, it became somewhat of a battlefield known as Fire Square because of the amount of times that medieval Moscow burned. Red Square was the site of ceremonies, grand parades and even assassinations. And according to my local Muscovite guide, Olga, today it's a popular haunt for tourists and locals.
They call it Red Square because in the old Russian language it meant beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Now it means just red. Yeah. But you know, after they decided to say that because of the blood of revolutionaries, it has the meaning, it has the name red, but really it's not so.
St. Basil's Cathedral is one of Russia's most recognised architectural treasures. It was built in 1555 by the notorious Ivan the Terrible.
You see, one of the reasons why they call him Ivan the Terrible is this church, St. Basil Cathedral. Two architects, Russians, when they finished the construction of the church, Ivan the Terrible asked them if they could repeat such a beauty. And when the answer was yes, Ivan the Terrible ordered to blind them.
Blind them?
Yes, really.
Wow. Ivan, you're terrible.
And he was sitting on the tower, the smallest tower of the Kremlin, watching the construction of the church.
And the Kremlin is like the White House is to Washington, the president's main residence. In the 12th century, on this very plot of land, a small wooden fortress or Kremlin was built, and century after century, attack after attack, it grew stronger, transforming into one of the world's most impressive landmarks and serving as a prototype for all Kremlins across the country. It now stands as a much treasured landmark and the office of current President Vladimir Putin. So would the Russian president be here right now?
Let's see the flag. If the flag is above the building,
wonderful.
He's here.
And the most impressive site within the Kremlin walls is Cathedral Square. So that's a church, that's a church, that's a church, that's...
Olga, why? All our churches.
What, are they all churches?
All our churches, yeah.
So why?
Only this is the celebration hall, facility chamber, yeah. You know, every church was built for different purpose. You know. One was built for baptizing our tsars when they were babies, and this one, Annunciation Cathedral. In this church, they had their wedding ceremonies, and after wedding, they were crowned in this church, Assumption Cathedral, and they were buried in this church.
Wow, so is that church the divorce lawyer? As home to 11 million people, Moscow is a city of great diversity. But since the fall of communism in 1991, Moscow is now a city with newfound riches and a lively cafe culture. Arbut Street is Moscow's bohemian quarter, and it's jammed with shops, bars and restaurants. See, Olga, this is the side of Russia that we very rarely get to see. The festive, the lifestyle, the fun, the colour, the vibrancy.
Yes, you're right. It's a very lively place, full of tourists and locals. Very popular.
After the break, before we set sail up the mighty Volga, I get an out-of-this-world experience at Russia's awesome cosmonaut museum.
Russia very big, but Australia very far.
Yeah, getaway.